breasts that are way oversized, massive rears, you know, like
people always go to the polar opposites. They can never see any nuance here.
yeah, back to God's design, because he is a good creator, and one of the ways we do that is over on Patreon.
Base nuance take from Trixie over here. I appreciate that. Thank you. Based nuance take.
Hi, it's Trixie Mattel, and we are back. Listen, let's just not act like we're about to not do what we're about here to
Our own backyard.
Let's not act like we are not about to do what we're about to do on this channel right now in this gig. So, I was filming a television program in London when this video came out, and I didn't have my cameras, I didn't have anything, so I couldn't instantly respond. So I've had to wait like probably 4 weeks to see this, and I'm here at my show backstage in Winnipeg, and I just got ready early because I thought we could just rip into it. Now, about 2 years ago, probably like mid-COVID, I reviewed the Girl Defined Wearing Makeup in a God-Honoring Way video, and it ended up being very, I guess, clickable on the internet. So let's see what these gals are talking about today. So these gals, I don't know their names. I think it's gotta be like, it's truly gotta be Ashley and Ashley or something like that. Let me put in my AirPods. Rich. So today we're gonna jump right into the new Girl Defined video. It is called Drag Queens Are a Mockery of God's Design for Womanhood. And we are about to learn, we're about to learn about ourselves. We're about to look inward, we're about to look outward. And before I push play here, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell because we have new videos every single week. And let me just say this. You know, I'm very accepting of everyone. I love all people of all religions. Or by drag queen standards, I accurately hate everyone the same amount. So I'm just saying, I'm going into this with an open mind. And I would actually love to watch this and then walk away being like, wow, we're not so different. But I have a feeling that I'm gonna feel very conflicted about some of the ideas presented by Ashley and Ashley. Okay, wait, I'm gonna read the description, the video description. Why is it that full-grown males dressing up as overdeveloped, highly sexualized females are suddenly rising in popularity? Why are families now taking their little children to drag queen nightclub parties? Hi guys, would you like to go with me to the drag queen nightclub party? This is written by somebody who's never left the home, where they're encouraged to tip half-dressed drag dancers. We're gonna call it, I already know from the description, this is somebody who's never been to a drag show. And I'm gonna say that like 99% of drag is completely innocuous. There's maybe the 1% of fake blood or political statements or, you know, but most of it's true. I mean, if we're being honest, it's like Broadway twinks lip syncing to Mother Knows Best from Tangled. Like that's what's at stake here. What in the world is happening? Have we gone completely off the rails? Oh, rails is spelled incorrectly. As a society when it comes to any sense of morality and male-female norms? Well, first of all, I don't think norm is a great name. How do we navigate this radical new world and stay true to God's design? Let's unpack this together. For a deeper dive, listen to episode number 91 on the Girl Defined Show podcast. I think that means there's 90 other episodes. Jesus. All right. But you know what? We're going to go into this. We're going to be supportive and open-minded. I got my headphone in. We have the girls here. They actually look beautiful. And we'll just see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm having an open mind. You gotta remember, I'm from a small town in the Midwest, so I'm used to having to extend an olive branch with people who I don't agree with, and I can do that.
We are not gonna give into the delusion. This is not gonna help all of the major mental breakdowns that are going on.
I should do it the way that she does it. Everybody's here to see the banana, right? Okay. We're reacting. Should I just go? I look horrible today, man. I look so bad. Okay, we'll watch this. If I feel bad enough, I'll just switch back to being a banana.
This is not helping it by affirming that one, men can be women, or two, men should dress up like.
I'm already taking it back. I'm already taking it back. I'm already taking it back. The nerve of people who are like fundamentalist Christians to say that drag is causing suicide. Excuse me? I can't. Yikes. I'm not even gonna go there.
Women,
that's like obvious.
Is that what they said?
Fake breasts that are way oversized. Massive.
Fake breasts that are way oversized? These are a C cup. These are my meat and greet breasts. My oversized ones are still on the bus.
What's up,
All right.
everybody? It is Kristen and Bethany here.
Kristen and Bethany. I almost knew that. Kristen and Bethany. Hi, Kristen and Bethany.
So glad you're joining us for this conversation because we need to talk about this. This is something we've been wanting to talk about for a while. Drag queens.
Hey, Stardust. It's been a while. Were you on vacation? Welcome back. I was not on vacation. I'm sick with COVID. But...
And the fact that it has become so mainstream, it is so popular, it is something that we're told children should be exposed to. It will give them sexual diversity, opportunity. You know, their young minds are so moldable and we want to shape them in the right way. In fact, something happened recently in our own backyard, not literally, but in Texas.
Oh!
I whacked myself in the face. Okay. This was in the news a lot, so you probably heard about it, but there was a big drag show. And it was
Okay. So this appears to be a response kind of based on what they saw in the news. Do you guys remember like a few months ago, it was like, drag queens doing drag shows for kids, god damn it.
Drag the Kids to Pride, a family-friendly drag show. That's how it was advertised. And in fact, when I saw some articles and some videos about this event, there was a huge neon sign in the background that literally said, "It's not gonna lick itself. We don't need to give you any more."
It's from an ice cream shop, right?
Okay, I love that she just said, and the neon sign said, "It's not gonna lick itself," and the other girl went. You know, before we rip into this, I want to say this, and I've never taken a formal position on this, but I'm just going to say that all drag is appropriate for children is wrong. To say that all drag is inappropriate for children is wrong. When I worked in...
Base nuanced take. Base nuanced take from Trixie over here. I appreciate that. Thank you. Based nuanced take.
Hamburger Mary's, let's say, we had the early seating where it was like no swear words. We were encouraged to do more like Disney numbers. That's when we bust out like the Barbie girl or like the Hocus Pocus number. There is that type of drag show. And then there is like, you know, 1 a.m. nightclub drag queens stapling things to themselves drag show. So every drag show is different. Every drag performer is different. I mean, that's like making absolutes saying concerts are appropriate for children. Comedy shows aren't appropriate for children. All things are different, right? I'm telling you, there's a lot of family-friendly drag shows out there. And there's a lot of family-unfriendly drag shows, like all of mine. So like, one movie is explicit, so all movies are bad. Like, what is that? I personally do an adult act, and I would rather perform for all adults. And I don't advertise the show as for children. But I'm not gonna like kick out a child. So whatever happens, happens. I'm not your mom.
Drag
Might surprise you, I'm not your
men
mom.
dressed as very provocative, very sexually explicit women.
Men dressed as provocative, sexually explicit women. I will say, they could be reading us a little harder. Every time they talk about drag, they're like, it's these men dressed as beautiful, full breasts, full hips, tight little waist, long hair, and wet. I want them to be like, these
There are some crazy heartin'. Like I would go to, it depends where you go. If they're dressing up like princesses and doing Disney numbers, I have no problem with that. If they're doing like strip teases, then yeah, there's an issue. So.
Posters, these like
It's not,
honestly, they were serving.
It's not anything different than what you would take a kid at Disney World. You take a kid to Disney World, there are women who are dressed up just as extravagantly, dressed up as Disney princesses, right? So, yeah. I'm
gonna say this too, from this video to the last video, this lighting is amazing. They have really pulled together the lighting and the audio. Like this, they look great. They do look great.
Fake breasts that are way oversized, massive rears, you know, like wear very skimpy clothing and dance around and twerk and do all this stuff. Like,
what is their issue with big boobs and big butts? You know what? Eve was the first woman. I bet she was stacked, bitch.
You know, share a biblical worldview, get back to God's design because he is a good creator. And one of the ways we do that is over on Patreon. So we have.
Oh my God. Wait a minute. Did you hear like the absolute? She said, we need to worry about our children. We need to get back to God's design. And if you're interested in that, we have a Patreon. Do you see what I mean? It's asking the moral questions, basically saying, do you think you're a good person? Well, if you want to be a good person, here's how much it costs.
Our way of saying thank you is by giving you free resources like 5 strategies to find freedom from sexual sin.
5 strategies to find freedom from sexual sin.
Girldefine.com.
This is like not funny and this is not comedy, but when I watch these, which I've only seen a couple, I just start to feel like these people really believe this. these people really believe this, and that's really wild to me.
And so someone came out and said, anyone who thinks drag isn't for children is wrong. Drag is expression, and children are such judgment-free beings that they don't really care what you're wearing, just what you're performing.
Okay,
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't disagree here. This person says drag is for children. I would say to assert that the entire art form of drag, every drag performer is for children, is wrong. And that's why
I think she's so based. She's giving the most nuanced take here. I love it. It's just like, it's like any other topic. People always go to the polar opposites. They can never see any nuance here.
Things like this get so heated because everybody wants to talk in absolutes. There is drag shows for children. They exist. Now, if your fundamental issue that you're offended by at a drag show is that you saw a man in a wig, that's not enough for me.
Yeah, that's
if
not
you saw
enough.
a man in a wig like with
that's like theater. That's like theater. All of the history of theater has been men in wigs.
Crucifix chugging blood, and that could be an issue. But if you're saying base level, like a man in a dress is offensive to me, I'm really not on your side at all. There's drag performers out there that even me at 15 years of drag, there's drag performers out there that I don't prefer to watch because they gross me out. God damn.
Exposing them to such.
Do you guys get the sense that these women hate each other? I know that's horrible to say, but when one of them...
I bet they have a frenemy relationship where they're kind of friends, but they're always competing with each other. That's the vibe I get from them, but that's a pretty astute observation from her.
Talking, the other one is looking at her like, are you done? Like, they really, and
they're like fake nice to each other, but they're really like this frenemies vibe.
I know what that looks like. She drives home in her Pinto and she's like, Amber, whatever. What are their names? Renee, Kristen, and Bethany. And what the do you want?
Oh, you're filming your video.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Come get it. You know what you did.
God? Do you love God? Hello, I love God. God, are you there? It's Margot.
Thank you. Sorry, I got interrupted by that man. See, like, that offended me. No kid should have to see what I just saw.
Dressed up like women, now preying on these young children.
No, she didn't. She just said preying on these young children. You guys, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something very fundamental. Nobody who does drag thinks about kids. We don't get in drag thinking, I hope the kids in the audience like it. I hope the kids really turn up for me today. I hope the kids brought their tipping money. The whole thing of
if I were a drag performer
and children and like the grooming, like wanting to children is like crazy. I think we all know where men put on dresses and kids. Okay, it's not a drag show. I never was at a drag show until I was 18. Do you think
that's a fucking burn? That's burn. Okay. Wow, Catholic Church being lit on fire right now. Fuck. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sick and I'm sweating still. I still have COVID. Kind of. So, I'm better, but...
Going to a drag show makes you do drag?
Even taking young boys and dressing them up like over-sexualized women.
That is not over-sexualization. These are like the people that like, when somebody has like a kid, and it's like a little boy and their baby, like, ooh, that's his girlfriend. That's his girlfriend. He's a heartbreaker. I'm like, you're disgusting.
We have a designer.
We have a designer?
A God who loves us. We have a God who cares about us. From the beginning of time, he was extremely intentional.
This is really wild, you guys. I know we're supposed to be doing comedy videos, but people are really wild. I feel like, I mean, I'm sitting here looking like this, being like, wow, some people are crazy. And maybe I'm flawed. Maybe I have worms in my brain. I would be so much more afraid of what would happen to my kid if they went to church. Way more afraid. Way more afraid. Do people go to therapy because they went to a drag show? No.
I just think it takes common sense to look at it and go, wow, this is a disaster. No wonder we are having so many mental problems in our own backyard.
You guys,
even within the Muslim community, you've got a lot of people who people call AP made this really great point to me that people who leave things like the Mormon church or leave things like Islam, they call themselves ex-Muslims, ex-Mormon, ex-this, right? Because they felt like they were so indoctrinated into their faith there's a trend for them to call themselves X identity, right? And a lot of these ex-Muslims I talk to seem very like traumatized. It's like a lot of like religious people, fundamentalist religious people. So it's sad, you know.
I just don't understand. Like, what are you afraid of? Like, what is going to happen if you are eating a taco and some French fries, having a margarita, and a person in a wig walks by pretending to sing? If your faith is like, that's all it takes, like, whew, I saw somebody lip syncing with a puppet, and now I'm not a Christian anymore. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know.
In Genesis 1 and 2, we see
Genesis 1 and 2. I know that, queen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage. Genesis.
But in society, we're told, you know, men can be women.
The church finger pointing is a bit played out. It's more public school teachers that are banging kids these days. I'd like to see a source on that. I mean, I don't doubt it, but then if you want to compare the two, who's getting traumatized at school versus who's getting traumatized at who's getting traumatized at a drag show, I guarantee then still the number of people getting traumatized at school is going to be much higher, you know, and probably for a variety of reasons, but SAG, but are you going on Kino Casino? Andy and Ashton were talking about doing an episode with you as their third chair. They haven't messaged me. I'm not opposed to it, but I'm not opposed to it, but but yeah, I need a message, you know.
And women can be men, anyone can be anything, really, and it does get so confusing.
And this is the other thing, you guys. I think that these people are having some cloudiness, and they're probably gonna watch this, whatever. I think you're having some cloudiness about drag and people who do drag wanting to become the other sex or another gender.
Yeah, that's another thing. People keep conflating drag stuff to trans stuff, and it's not. It's really not. There's no reason to be there, you know? They're not synonymous, right? So.
That's not the case. Most of the time, like, I mean, people don't always do this because they like are trying to slowly quit the expression they were born. Like, that's not true.
When we're in the womb, the Bible says that God.
This is so much more intense than the last video. The last video was like talking about blush. This video is like.
It's a part of God's holistic plan for who we are, and I can look at my body and see I'm a female.
This is the thing, lady. To say that everybody who dresses in drag hates the body they're born in, doesn't want to be that, like, that's all so wild. And it's also interesting, I always bring it back to this, but it's funny that like when it's Tyler Perry doing Medea, or like, you know, Dana Carvey doing Church Lady, anything like that, it's not drag and it's fine. But when it's like in a queer space, like there's a DJ involved in a disco ball and it's gay people watching, suddenly it's like trauma. We must all be traumatized.
The whole big push for drag queens to be mainstream, the confusion.
There's not this is also the thing. They keep talking about how drag is being pushed to be mainstream. This is what's happening. Drag queens are doing drag. People say, I want to see that. I'm going to go to that show. I'm going to buy a ticket. I'm going to download the record. I'm going to watch the TV show. People are allowing themselves to be interested in this without it meaning anything deeper than you just watch someone's art form, someone's creative work. So they keep talking about how like drag's being pushed in the mainstream. It's like, Mary, unless I fly into your house in drag and take your dead arm while you're sleeping and make you click download like one of my albums or something, nobody's pushing you to do anything. People are willfully enjoying this because they don't care what people like this have to say about it. This is what's funny. It's sort of like when you hear like the gay agenda, and as a gay person, you're like, is there a PowerPoint that nobody has forwarded me? Is there a PDF? Because there's not more to it. Like drag queens don't have an agenda. We're not trying to make people do drag. Ask an established drag queen if she wants more drag queens to exist. No, we don't want anybody to do drag. We don't want people to do drag. We don't care if people do drag. We don't care if people like go home and cross dress. Like that has nothing to do with why we do drag. And that's why it's so bizarre and confusing. People like this always think there's some master plan. It's like, to me as a drag queen, it's always been more expression than a political statement. I'm doing this character for fun. And of course, as a fun side bonus, it's a political statement. But most drag queens, I'm gonna tell you something. People get on Drag Race and stuff and they're like, I always want to do drag. I always wanted to like challenge norms. Most drag queens start out for attention because they're bored and they want to get drunk with their friends. It's not like a master plan.
He cares for you. He made you. He knew you when you were like a tiny little baby, and he has a good plan for your life.
They're saying that God knew you when you were a little baby.
Actually unpack this in much greater detail on the Girl Defined show. So our podcast, we share a whole testimony of a man who was a drag queen. He shares his conversion to Christ and just the amazing transformation of God.
It sounds like they talked to somebody who used to do drag and then converted to Christ. It's really, really damaging when stuff like that happens because, I don't know, it's sort of like if you're like a gay Trump person and then they go, look, this person's gay and they like Trump. If you're like, look, this person was a drag queen and now it's like, it's very damaging, very damaging.
Let's speak truth in love. There is.
So I think this brings up a pretty good point, is that I think the main thing that I've noticed is that people really do like to push the trans political stuff and the drag queen political stuff together and try to and like make them seem like they're synonymous and the same, and they're really not. These are like two different communities of people. Obviously I think that Trixie has had the most base take out of all the people I have watched address this topic. As you know, the big topic in Twitch poll was kink at Pride. And obviously kink at Pride I'm kind of against in the open space, right? If you've got like a nightclub or like something after hours where kids are not allowed, then sure, allow it. But like the having like the kink stuff out in the open is is a bit much. But when you're talking about somebody who's just wearing a dress doing Disney songs, there are plenty of adult women who do that at Disney World, you know. And men have historically always been wearing wigs and acting and all of that, right? So I think as long as it's not sexualized drag, right? It's just like an appreciation of hyper femininity, then I might be okay with that, you know. I think that's fine. So drag is more akin to dressing up for play than identifying or feeling as a woman. No trans woman is going to try and stand out this hard with all this over-the-top non-passing features. Yeah, I agree.
It's freedom when we follow God's design.
Okay. This one was actually not worth making fun of in a way. I mean, it was just like a little more sad. It's a little sad. I don't know, you guys. I really don't know. But I guess my final thought is these gals seem to believe that drag, like as an industry, as an art form, as a thing that exists, that there's some sort of like nefarious plot to it. I mean, at drag shows, our main plot is trying to get these cross-dressers on stage on time and hope they don't hand us a CD that skips. That's the main plan. So I feel like these women give us more credit than we deserve, because like we're just doing drag. I mean, I'm telling you, I don't know if this will get found by the Christians, but we're just doing drag. It's just dressing up. It's not, when you think about it, it's not even that interesting. I mean, it's a costume. It's a costume. When you dress as a pirate for Halloween, is it because you hate yourself and you want to be a pirate? Like, no. It's just dressing up. Well, I don't know. It was a little dark. It was a little dark. Okay, bye.
Okay, that was nice. I'm here if you need me, baby. Baby!